So we're going to continue with algebraic fractions, and we're going to be looking how to multiply and divide algebraic fractions today. So we're first going to go through an example, and just keep in mind when we are multiplying algebraic fractions, we are combining the steps you would take to multiplying standard fractions and also your skills on simplifying algebraic fractions. So first example, we're going to multiply c over 2 times c over 4. So when I said keep in mind that we're going to use the skills of multiplying standard fractions, that means we just multiply the numerators together like we normally would. So numerators c times c on the top, and then also multiply your denominator, so 2 times 4 on the bottom. So if we just go ahead and actually multiply that, we will get c squared, so c times c equals c squared, over 8. And that is our final answer. So we're just multiplying our numerators, multiplying our denominators, and simplifying if needed, but this here is our final answer. So using this example, can you please pause the video here and multiply 3 over c times 5 over c. Okay, hopefully you've unpaused and managed to give this a go. So when we do this, we multiply our numerators and then we go ahead and multiply our denominators. So you will have got 15 over c squared. So well done if you got that. So second example, this time we're going to multiply 4d over 5 times 3 over 8d. We're going to use the same steps as before, always multiplying our numerators together and then multiplying our denominators. So if we do that, we get 4d times 3 to give us 12d, 5 times 8d to give us 40d. Once we get to this step, we now need to apply previous skills on simplifying algebraic fractions. So whenever we do any questions with algebraic fractions, we always need to make sure that our answer is fully simplified. So here we can simplify by dividing through by d. So we can cancel out our d's top and bottom to give us 12 over 40, and then we can divide top and bottom by 4, simplifying a standard fraction, change the 12 to a 3, the 40 to a 10, and our final answer is 3 over 10. So see how this tricky looking expression has been simplified right down to 3 over 10 following these steps. So using this example again, if you can pause the video here and try this question. So 3p over 4 multiplied by 2 over 9p. So pause now. Okay, let's go over the answer to this. So the steps we're taking is multiplying our numerators and then multiplying our denominators. So you will get 3p times 2 to give you 6p, 4 times 9p to give you 36p. Once we get to this step, we always need to make sure our answers are fully simplified, so we need to apply our previous skills on simplifying algebraic fractions. And we're going to cancel out those p's to give us 6 over 36, and then we can simplify this even further by dividing top and bottom by 6. So the 6 becomes a 1, and then 36 divided by 6 is 6. And your answer should be 1 over 6. So really well done if you got that correct. If you got this first step correct, really well done. Just remember, make sure that you are fully simplifying your answer. Okay, third example. Getting a little bit trickier now. This time we are going to multiply 6p squared over 2 times 5q over 3p. So this time we've introduced a square term, and we've also introduced another algebraic term, so we've got a different letter in there. But we're still going to apply the same steps as before, multiplying our numerators and then multiplying our denominators. So if we do that, 6p squared times 5q, well 6 times 5 is 30, p squared and q. So top, our numerator is 30p squared q, and our denominators 2 times 3p. Well, 2 times 3 is 6. That's where we get 6p. Once we've got that, we always need to make sure that our answer is fully simplified. So we need to now simplify. Looking for any of the same algebraic terms on the top as we have on the bottom. So there's not any q's on the bottom, so we can't cancel out this q, but there's a p squared here and there's a p, which means we can cancel the p on the bottom with one of the p's on the top. So we're going to cancel one of those p's on the top and we're just going to be left with 1p with that p on the bottom. So we will be left with 30pq over 6, so 30pq over 6, and now checking our number terms, we can simplify 30 and 6 by dividing them both by 6. So 30 divided by 6 is 5, 6 divided by 6 is 1, so our answer will be 5pq over 1. However, any fraction that is over 1, we just write as equals 5pq. Okay, so any fraction that's over 1, you can lose marks if you leave it like that, so make sure you take it one step further, get rid of the fraction and just write out what your numerator term is. Okay, so this definitely got a little bit trickier, but we're still following the same steps, so just take it nice and slow, following those same steps, making sure your answer is fully simplified. So again, if you can pause the video here, following that example closely and try this question. So 2x squared over 5 times 5y over 3x. Okay, so let's go over the answer for this one. So we're going to multiply first, so multiplying our numerators together, then multiplying our denominators. So multiplying our numerators, 2 times 5 is 10, then we've got x squared and y, that's where we get 10x squared y from. And then 5 times 3x gives us 15x. Now we need to simplify. So we're looking for the same algebra terms on the top as we have on the bottom. There's no y on the bottom, so we just have to leave the y alone. There is an x on the bottom and we can cancel it with one of the x's on the top. So the x squared will just become x and the x on the bottom will be cancelled out, leaving 10xy over 15. Now look to our number terms. Let's simplify the 10 over 15 by multiplying top and bottom by 5. So the 10 divided by 5 will become 2, 15 divided by 5 will become 3, leaving 2xy over 3. And that's that fully simplified. So really well done if you got that answer. Okay, so bringing all of those 3 examples together, I have a task for you to try. So if you pause the video here and try these 4 questions, making sure you follow the steps correctly and you're leaving your answer fully simplified. Okay, so let's go over the answers. So A, you should have got a squared over 12. Well done if you got that. For B, you should have got 3 over 20. For C, should have got 3x over 10. And for D, you should have got 3rs over 14. So if you mark your work, and well done if you got all of or most of them correct. Okay, so we've looked at multiplying algebraic fractions. We're now going to look at dividing algebraic fractions. Very, very similar to multiplying, but there's just a step that you need to do first before you can follow those same steps as multiplying. As with multiplying algebraic fractions, we are going to follow very similar, same steps as you would do for dividing standard fractions. So let's put this into practice with algebraic fractions. So our first example is a over 6 divided by a over 4. So our first step is our first fraction stays the same. Hopefully you remember this step from dividing standard fractions. We are going to change that division sign into a multiplication sign, and then we're going to flip that last fraction. So we've changed the divide into multiply, and we've flipped a over 4 to become 4 over a. So this is a really important step that you need to take when you are dividing fractions, standard fractions or algebraic fractions. So now we've got a over 6 multiplied by 4 over a. We can go ahead and do what we've previously done in the previous 3 examples and multiply this. So we're going to multiply our numerators, so a times 4 is 4a, 6 times a is 6a, and we can simplify. We've got a in the bottom cancelled with an a on the top cancelled with an a on the bottom to leave us with 4 over 6, and we can cancel the 4 and the 6 by dividing them both by 2, so 4 will become 2, 6 divided by 2 is 3, so our final answer will be 2 over 3. So again, our important steps are using our skills of dividing fractions, change the divide into a times, a multiply, and flip that last fraction. So change to multiply, flip that last fraction, and then go ahead and follow the same steps as before. So with that, can you pause the video and try this question here? Okay, so we are going to follow steps of dividing fractions. First fraction stays the same. Change that sign to a multiply. Flip the last fraction. So you've got 3 over c multiplied by c over 5. Now we can go ahead and multiply as we normally would. So 3 times c gives us 3c. c times 5 gives us 5c. Then we need to make sure our answer is fully simplified. So we've got c on the bottom and the top that we can cancel out, leaving 3 over 5, and we can't simplify that any further. So our final answer is 3 over 5. So well done if you got that. Okay, example 2 on dividing algebraic fractions. Definitely a little bit trickier than before, but because we're following that first step and then we're just applying our skills of multiplying, I thought you would definitely manage this jump. So we've got 3p squared over 4q divided by p over 2q cubed. We are going to keep the first fraction the same, change that divide to a multiply, and then flip the last fraction. So see, we had p over 2q cubed. We've now got 2q cubed on the top over p. And now this part here, we just go ahead and multiply as we normally would in the first 3 examples. So we're going to multiply our numerators together to give us 6, so 3 times 2 is 6. We've got p squared and a q cubed. And then our denominators together, 4pq. And then we need to make sure our answer is fully simplified. So we've got q cubed on the top, which is p times p times p. So we've got 3 q's, sorry, q times q times q. But we've only got one q on the bottom, meaning we can only cancel out one of those q's. So q cubed will change to q squared, and that cancels out with the q on the bottom. Then we've got p squared on the top, but we've only got one p on the bottom. So we're going to change that p squared to a p, and the p on the bottom will cancel out, leaving us with 6pq squared over 4. Now look to our number terms, make sure they are fully simplified. So 6 and 4, we can divide them both by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, 4 divided by 2 is 2, leaving 3pq squared over 2. And that is your final answer, fully simplified. Okay, so again, using this example to help you, can you pause the video here and answer this question? Okay, let's go over the answer. So we are going to keep the first fraction the same, change that divide to a multiply, and then we need to flip the last fraction. So only do this when we are dividing. Once we've got that, we could just go ahead and multiply our numerators together and then multiply our denominators. So you should get 9r cubed s over 12rs squared. Now we can go ahead and simplify. So we've got an s on the top of our fraction and an s squared on the bottom. So we can cancel those out, leaving an s on the bottom. We've got an r cubed on the top and an r on the bottom. We can cancel one of those r's out, leaving r squared on the top, cancelling out the r on the bottom, leaving 9r squared over 12s. And then look to our number terms. We can simplify 9 and 12 by dividing by 3. So 9 divided by 3 is 3, 12 divided by 3 is 4, leaving 3r squared over 4s. So well done if you got that. So bringing those last two examples together, I would like you to practice again by pausing here and trying these 4 questions. Okay, hopefully you've unpaused and let's go through the answers. So first one, change that to a multiply, flip the last fraction, and then we go ahead and multiply. So you should have 3 over 2 for the first one. Second one, you should have 3n squared over 4. And then C, you should have 8xy over 15. And last one, 10rs squared over 3. So really well done if you managed those.